All right. Carla, you can go ahead and start your camera. I'm going to go ahead and start this session and then I'll pass you host and y'all are good to go.
Thanks.
And I'll just stay hidden until you bring me up.
Perfect. All right. So we are started. Carla, passing host. Hello, everyone. Sending love and let me go this.
Hi, and happy Sunday service. Welcome to the Church of the Sacred Synthesis bi-weekly Sunday service. My name is Carla. If you don't know me, I've been on before, like as a guest, but never as a host. So, um, just a couple of announcements. So, my name is Carla. I've been with the church since the very beginning. These are my family as well as my coworkers, and I am, dedicated to continuing to give the members Sunday services and things like that because and I want to really offer you guys to come to the monthly calls because we have all these things that some people just don't even take advantage of. So it's like, please come and like just experience one of them. I'll talk more about them. If you want to learn more about the church, you can look at the website. It really goes over all of our like core values. I'm not going to get into all that right now, but the bottom line is there's nothing that we try to make you believe or nothing that we try to make you do. Like we honor everyone's unique perspective on spirituality, on this physical reality that we live in. We are a group, if you don't know like the church members, we're a diverse group of like some of us are like just seekers and like just wanting to seek, I'm a bit of that too. Some of us are like mothers and fathers that just are trying to get through life, man, like just trying to get through life and trying to do things, and it's just hard sometimes. We can feel things in a lower way sometimes, and sometimes we need help with things like that. So anyway, diverse group of different religions, like whatever. There is an acceptance here that I've never seen before when it comes to uh, come as you are, like come as you are, like come whoever you are, whatever you believe, just come just like that, and all of it is completely perfect. Uh, yeah, so I'm going to go over a few things. So you're used to Jenna. Listen, Jenna just needs a break for a few months. Like there's a lot going on personally and like in the all the things. And just so we need to give her a break. She's taking a break, period. And I will be doing this until further notice, or maybe someone else will. Who knows? But today I am. And we have with us also Jacob. I can't believe I didn't ask you how to pronounce your last name. If it's
No
Kuker
worries.
or Tucker.
Kuker.
I
Yeah.
thought so. So tell you a little bit about Jacob. Let me find his bio again. So I met him just from being on YouTube or on TikTok, and I found him, and I was like, "Ooh, this guy like talks about all kind of cool stuff." And I just was like, reached out to him, and he agreed to come and share some of his wisdom and magic. And I think you will really enjoy him. So I'm going to read you his bio. So he's a content creator, spiritual teacher, and founder of Cub Kuker Supernatural with over 700 followers worldwide. He blends Christian mystic philosophy, paranormal exploration, and his unique intuitive insights to offer a transformative experience. He taps into his dark feminine and creative masculine energies to provide something truly exceptional for his members and clients. So he began exploring spirituality early, teaching the Bible at age 8. His background is in entertainment, production, professional ministry led to him to create Cub Cooper Supernatural, which includes the Supernatural Circle. That sounds fun. An online academy with the weekly Zoom calls, an academy's supernatural chats, and connections with like-minded individuals. He produces regular episodes of the Cub Kuker Supernatural podcast, a live stream podcast, and short videos that explore the supernatural through ancient occult wisdom and the universalist perspective on faith. His goal is 100% to be 100% authentic and inspire individuals on their spiritual journey, helping them embrace their true spirit. If that's not the perfect person to be on this. So we welcome him. I do have a couple things that I want to go over. Like I know, and we'll have him talk. Here's the structure of this service will be. I'll just give you some kind of housekeeping, like what's going on with the church or some things, and then I will do like some energy work. That is my gift to you guys. Like Jenna does the meditation. I'm gonna that's her gift, right? I'm gonna give you my gift. So I hope you accept it and you can choose to or not to. You don't have to look at it, just lay back and kind of receive. Uh, and then we're gonna bring Jacob on and he's gonna talk about whatever he wants to talk about. Like it's very much like non-rehearsed. We don't know what people are going to say. We just want them to be authentically themselves, and we want you guys to be able to have a different perspective or just look at different things. Like it's fun to pick and look, right? And if it resonates, it resonates. So, okay, announcement. Silo Buddies have we've paused production on that because she just does not have time. So right now, Silo Buddies are not going to be offered anymore. But they'll come back. Like it might be like this season or like, yeah, Buddies are back, who knows? But we do still have all the rest of the things on the marketplace. Um, sacrament wise, as well as other products. We have magical friends that make their own incense from their plants in the backyard. Like we have, friends that make all these beautiful products and like magnesium products and, cannabis products and gels and, healing ointments. Like there's magic in the marketplace, just letting y'all know. And then the monthly calls are really cool because they are just like a safe space to come and talk about whatever we want to talk about. So for the most part. And then there's some calls that are like specifically for education or information, like there's all kinds of different things. So I invite you, if you have had addiction issues or you're in it right now, like come on our recovery call. Um, yeah, come on the recovery call. Come to Clint's Wizards Corner. All right. So there's that. So I will offer some energy work. I think that's all. Yeah. So if you want to, like, I don't have any music, so you'll just hear, listen, you don't have to look at me. But this has nothing to do with just receive the energy if you want. Allow me to cleanse your space. Like allow me, like, um, be consensual to just allow me to cleanse your space. Receive it, believe it. Like energy knows no space and time, right? So when I'm cleansing the space, you may not smell the smudge, but you can feel it if you dig into your body and see what you feel. Like I'm all about like, how does this feel? Right? So take some deep breaths. I'm just gonna like some say take some deep breaths and really allow the breaths to come out as however you want them to. If you need like a feminine sigh, like to just release and let go. Like allow that to happen if you need that that masculine kind of sigh where it's more of an energetic release, then do that. You know what your body needs, feel it. Feel the body wisdom. The body has wisdom. So accept this offering of cleansing from this beautiful plant. We thank the sage. We thank the sacred smoke. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Take some more deep breaths. Just breathe. Remember, there's nothing else you need to do right now. Like allow this to be a space for for you to just rest. Allow this to be a space, a held space. Get comfortable if you're not. So let's take some deep breaths in. Let's try to breathe nice and slow. All the way in. Hold it for just a couple seconds and let it go. Another deep, deep breath. Continue to breathe like this. Open your heart. You need to move, move. You know, sometimes you just need to release a little energy in the body. Allow yourself to be however you are. It's all good. Allow your body to soften. Allow your mind to soften. Just allow everything to be soft. Allow your emotions to soften. The lesson of a rose. I love roses. It's so soft. Continue to breathe. Start having thoughts. If it's just a little too quiet, like maybe that means that we need some quiet. It's a little too quiet. Dig into the quiet. Listen. We never take the time to listen. Allow the anxiety to go away. If there's anything in your body that needs to be moved again, do it. Listen to your body. Like, where do you feel this right now? Where are you at in your body right now? Are you not in your body at all? Where are you at? Check in. Check in with yourself sometimes. Ground, ground into the mother, ground into the mother. No matter where you are, just picture yourself with your feet on the ground, digging into the mud. Ground into that, ground into that. Hmm. Picture the mud just like going from your feet all the way up through your body. It's like getting into your heart, all over your face. Mm, so good. Take a deep breath. I'm going off into my own little world. Take a deep breath. Feel into your heart space. If you need to move around to open it a little bit, tap on it, open up your heart space, and just be open to um, whatever Jacob has to say. Just like be open, like be discernful, be intuitive, be allow yourself to be able to just hear a perspective and just be amazed by it. Like, I just yeah, thank y'all. So you can come back. I hope that you guys felt that. I certainly did. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you to the herbs. Thank you to the church. Thank you to the members watching. Thank you to Jacob, Jenna. All right. I am going to hand this over to Jacob because I'm going to make myself go away. Let's see. I think I just turned my camera off. This is our first time, so there we go.
Thank you so much for that. Absolutely beautiful this morning. And I had to bring myself back a little early so I could focus on this and actually talk today. So, welcome everyone. I hope you are having a beautiful, beautiful Sunday morning. I served in the church for many, many years, and that is one of the things that I do miss is the Sunday morning fellowship. Um, I wanted to share a little bit about me today, and then I'm going to share a message that's a bit trippy for everybody. And I think it'll be a beautiful message to kind of follow up that meditation and really think about what reality is for you, because I think reality is much weirder than most of us are willing to really accept on a day to day. And as we go to the grocery store and we drive in traffic and deal with kind of the 3D stuff in the world, it can get very, very unnerving. And we start to feel like we don't have control. And the message I'm going to share today is something out of left field, I think. It was a vision I was given in a dream. And I was told all of these things very recently on what our soul picks before we incarnate here on planet Earth. And so, whether you believe in that literally or you just want to do it as a thought experiment with me today, it will be a beautiful experience if you're willing to go on that journey with me. So, real quick, a little bit about me. My name is Jacob Kuker, but my friends call me Cub, and you should too. I do a pretty much daily live stream podcast where I go live for 1 to 2 hours and share a brand new message every day. I also send out a newsletter multiple times a week where I put all of my teachings together. It's a completely free newsletter that I put together just to organize my thoughts. It's a way that I can actually teach better, but also a way that I can give those teachings easily to people. And that's been a huge success and something I really enjoy doing. I started doing this, as Carla said, when I was, 8 years old. I had a Bible and I was dressed as a Bible character. teaching and preaching in my grandparents' living room. And there's an old photo of me I need to dig out somewhere that I'm standing there, pontificating these beautiful words from the Bible. I am since deconstructed. I spent well over 30 years steeped in the church. At many times, I thought I was going to be a pastor, a proper pastor. And then that the universe just kind of like crumbled that at every point when I would really try to get into it. And it's like the universe was like, no, no, no. This isn't really where you need to be. You're close, but this isn't really where you need to be. So, flash forward, I started in 2020 a TikTok channel with a couple of followers on there, a couple of hundred followers. And since then, we've blown up into we're just at around 750,000 followers now worldwide. And that is incredibly humbling and incredibly scary at the same time. And continuing to grow every day. So we're on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Apple, and Spotify pretty much every single day. I also run a group where we meet every single Saturday, and we've got a brand new group starting now. We're on Wednesday nights. We're going to do energy work, meditation, and oracle readings with a smaller, intimate group. So I'm really taking those steps into the proper spiritual work that I've been called to for a very long time. For the last couple of years, I've done a lot of esoteric studies. I've studied the Babylonian, the Akkadian, and the Sumerian mythologies and how they correlate to the Bible, the Old Testament specifically, and understanding where all of that comes from. And through all of those studies, I've come to the conclusion that Jesus was not teaching what the church teaches, but very, very deeply something different and something that most people are honestly terrified of. And that is personal God contact. That is sorcery of the highest order. That is actual magic with a K, sourcing the energy of God within the self. And when I say God, I mean God the Father, Mother. I mean both spirits united beautifully together. One of the things that I really hang my hat on with my community and my ministry online is the idea of inclusion and equality. That is something that I saw within the church that I could not stand at many points is the don't ask, don't tell mentality or the outright judgment of people that have a different lifestyle or even questions that differ from what is considered the word of God. So I began to ask questions, and that was not always taken well. I ended up exiting from the church a couple of years ago, and immediately I had a decision. Do I go all in on the marketing business I had, or do I go all in on my own ministry, my own version of what I wanted to explore? And I chose the latter. And there's been a lot of ups and downs, a lot of struggles, but it has been an absolutely beautiful journey and all kinds of cool evolutions with it. And I'm really excited for the next chapters of that. So, with that, growing up in the church, I was also homeschooled for a good portion of my childhood. And there were certain things I wasn't allowed to do, watch, touch, be around, things like oracle cards, tarot decks, anything to do with witchcraft or wizardry. Harry Potter was a big no-no for us, even to the point of some of my beloved childhood movies and video games had to literally be destroyed in front of me in order to cleanse the energy, which is, again, a form of witchcraft. The same rituals that these groups that I was a part of were speaking against were being done literally to the things that I loved, that I had a connection with. And so a lot of religious trauma has built up to make me what I am today. And through all of that, when I was in college, I had a lot of experimentation going on with mind expanding compounds. And one day, my brother gave me a copy of the Book of Enoch. And the Book of Enoch unlocked my mind, especially around the visions I was having and the medicine journeys I was taking at the time. And I remember reading through this. At the time, he gave me a copy that was a printed out version. It was back before you could just buy like a printed version. Everything was kind of coming from the early internet in the early 2000s. And he gave me this printed version. I remember reading through it and I was like, oh my gosh, like they're not telling us everything. Like if this is true, then this fills in all the gaps that are in the Bible, right? Well, flash forward years and years and years later, I'm still asking the same questions. And as I read through the Sumerian mythologies, we see where so much of the Old Testament comes from. And we see where in the Old Testament, when it just simply says God in our modern translations, a Bible like this is what I grew up with. And it's just a modern basic translation. There's the Christian Standard Bible, the NIV, there's the NLT, there's the King James Version, all of which are full of mistranslations. And the more that I've studied and looked into the words and what are the Greek root words that Jesus was interpreted as actually saying, the meaning is not at all what we're taught in church. And so, what I want to talk about today is an alternate view of reality and what I think Jesus was really trying to say to us. So, I consider myself an alternative Christian mystic, and I put the alt in front of that because you will see today the message that I have has essentially nothing to do with modern day Christianity. It's more in alignment of the early Gnostic teachings right around the time of Jesus himself, and not viewing Jesus as a savior or blood sacrifice of the world, but rather as an enlightened teacher, someone who achieved God knowledge, God gnosis, God contact, and told us how we can do the same thing. Even when they would come at him with the old law, he would say, I have come that I may fulfill that. And was he making a statement in the ego that it was his person, his body, that was the fulfillment of these things? Or was it the consciousness behind him saying, I have achieved this. I am the fulfillment of this. The thing that you wish to bind me by, I am not bound by because I am one with God. Another little known fact is even within the canonical Bible, the Holy Mother is mentioned multiple times in the form of Sophia. Even when Jesus talks about, that is not my mother. The original of that, which was essentially cut out of the Bible, was, that is not my mother, as he talks about his mother Mary, said, for she bore me that I may die, but my true mother gives me perpetual life. And we love to talk about our Earth Mother, Mother Earth. And I'm very, very connected with Mother Earth. I've got spirit animals. I do most of my work in nature for myself spiritually. And I deeply, deeply connect to Mother Earth. And that's why in my bio it says creative masculine and dark feminine, because my spirit animal is a raven, and the raven has a lot of deep meaning for me. I enjoy the darker things when it comes to exploring spirituality. I focus so much of what I do on the supernatural. And so, what I'm going to talk about today is going to challenge you on the supernatural. It's going to challenge you on where you're at on your path. And the reason I can say that is it did for me. This was one of the most challenging documents I've written, especially recently. And it puts together a lot of different pieces from the zodiac to the tarot story, to unlocking your actual superpowers. And I'm going to go through several of those today. And here we go. So, if you've ever felt that life is more than a random collection of events, but rather a beautifully crafted story, then this is for you. What if I told you that before incarnating into this reality, your soul made conscious choices about who you would become, the journey you would undertake, and the superpowers you'd unlock along the way? Just like creating a character in a video game, you choose every detail of your cosmic role, from the zodiac sign to your family lineage, your trials, triumphs, and the spiritual gifts that you'd carry with you. But the real question is, are you ready to be honest with yourself? The awakening journey for me is one of the most difficult ones. It's a thing that when you begin to awaken, there's some disturbing things. And I've said recently, the time of awakening is quickly passing for humanity, and the time of activation is upon us. And that's precisely what this document is about, is, are we willing to activate? Are we willing to look at what our zodiac signs are? Are we willing to look at what is the story of the tarot? How is that hero's journey actually our journey? And what are the things that we're missing in our experiences? Is life happening to us? Is it happening for us? Or is it possibly happening because of us? And I think that's the question a lot of us have to ask today is, how much of this experience am I actually creating because of the way I feel, because of the fears I have, because of the actual frequency that I am sending into the universe and programming the simulation to feed me back an experience. Now, if you've ever played a video game or a role-playing board game or anything like that, you know you get a set of characters that you can choose from. And some people that struggle with simulation theory wonder, how is it possible that this could be a simulation with so many experiences going on, right? Well, just as the Truman Show shows us, there may be a whole lot of actors around us. There may be a whole lot of spirit guides that we've created into this and a few other players on the board that we may be oblivious to. And this is a really disturbing thought when you begin to think about it, but it can be very, very liberating. In the Gospel of Thomas, Jesus teaches one of the most enlightening phrases I've ever heard in all of my years on this planet, and that is seek and you will find, and upon finding you will be disturbed, and upon being disturbed you will marvel and reign over all. And that is something that has haunted me since I read it about 5 years ago. I've asked myself what that means over and over and over. And I thought it was the awakening process. I thought it was me discovering that the voice of God in the Bible is not a unanimous voice of one deity, but rather an amalgamation of mythological studies, cultural deities, and personal opinions on the divine. I thought that was the height of my disturbance. And then I moved into a place where I began to play with simulation theory. Then I moved into a place where I began to play with magic and actual rituals and invoking the spirits of the earth and the spirit of God within me and asking for things to be done in the name of the highest good. And every step along the way, I've seen results. I've seen things that make me question everything. And I begin to wonder if literally this is a game that is being made up as we go, that we are, as we want to experience, we will experience. You want to believe in magic and practice magic and see results, you will get it. You want to believe in the Bible and think it is the holy word of God and you want results from that, you will get it. You want to look at all religions on the planet and believe that they all have a piece to the truth and put them together to understand the truth, you will receive it. Ask and you will receive, but you will be disturbed. And I've been very, very disturbed at many points in my life. I remember a time when I was actually in the shower, and I have a lot of my revelations when I'm in water, being a Pisces. And this particular time, I was like, what is truth? What is truth? What is truth? Like, who is God? Who is God? And this was several years ago. And I remember being told very clearly that what you worship as God and what you have worshiped as God in the form of the image you've given it and the form of the parameters you've given it is actually the definition, the archetype, and very possibly the actual being of Satan himself. This was very disturbing for me. And I began to go into deep introspection and got so physically sick upon that realization that I actually purged. And that moment led me down a rabbit hole where I discovered the demiurge Yaldabaoth from the Gnostic mythology. And if you're not familiar with that, Yaldabaoth is the god that created this matrix that we live in, according to this mythology. And he did it in ignorance, believing that he was the highest god. His mother, Sophia, bore him because she wanted offspring of her own, and she didn't do it according to this divine plan. And so, wisdom herself, in this moment of ego, bears Yaldabaoth, who begins to rule the material realm, including the planet that we live on. And if you've ever heard prison planet theory, this is where this comes from. If you've ever heard the Matrix movies or seen the Matrix movies, this is the same type concept that the God of this world is actually enslaving souls here, believing that he is doing them good, when really the point is for the souls to break free and continue to play the game on many, many different levels. This led me down a very, very deep rabbit hole in which I discovered that Lucifer is not Satan, but rather Satan is the accuser. And how many times do we play that character in our lives? We accuse ourselves, we accuse others, we accuse anything that we don't understand. And I find it very interesting that in my comments on any given day, I have dozens of well meaning comments from modern day Christians that have no idea what they're actually doing when they tell me I'm going to hell for what I teach. They are literally playing the part of Satan. They are playing the accuser. That's what it means in the Hebrew. Ha Satan means an accuser. And so when I began to discover all of these little esoteric and even occult teachings hidden in plain sight within the text, then it started to unlock a world for me. And I discovered that Lucifer is not a character. Lucifer is the Latinization of the bright and morning star, the one that brings light. And even in the Old Testament, this light bearer is judged by the demiurge character that is voiced many different times throughout the Bible, from the Old to the New Testament. And this demiurge character, or this creator God that did things foolishly, thinking he was doing everyone a favor and actually trapping their souls. This is the same spirit that I've discovered that runs through the veins of many, many different people. And this is not to judge anyone, but I was there too. I was looking for a religion and a system and a process that answered all of my questions, when ultimately all of the answers I needed were within me. And Jesus talks about the narrow path, make straight the way of the Lord. He's speaking of yoga and meditation and the sacred secretion, the Kundalini, the great serpent that rises in knowledge to purify oneself from all illusion. And as we go through the zodiac soul archetype, I believe there's a time and a place when we get to literally go down a list and go, I'm going to be an Aries. I'm going to be a Gemini. I'm going to be a Virgo. I'm going to be a Scorpio. I'm going to be a Capricorn. And you are choosing your character, much like you do in a video game or a board game. And I've always said, if PlayStation can do this on their servers, or Xbox, or any of these video game systems, and they can host millions of players worldwide, and we can have this massive game going on, and everyone sees a different overworld, everyone sees different stats on the screen, everyone has different areas they can go to and powers they can wield and archetypes that they are. That's how life is. And it begins to become very, very clear that there is literally nothing new under the sun, and everything is repeating. And just as we live here, we create into the games we make. Just as we live here, we create into the stories and the books we write. And essentially, it's a one big esoteric cipher that we get to choose from to begin to understand our soul. Because I personally believe that gnosis of God is gnosis of the soul. I believe that we are so much a part of God that the illusion and the point of the game is to reveal that to us. And once we are revealed that, we become a very high level character in the game. We become player one. We become aware. We have gnosis of ourself as God. No separation and no description of God needed. No cultural, tribal, church, or religious description of God is needed, because God just is the I am. And when you say that statement to yourself, I am, you activate a very sacred, a very ancient, a very powerful energy within you. Star Wars calls it the Force. The Eastern mystics called it many different things. Jesus called it the Father, Mother. And as I said, they cut and edited a lot of the mother language out of the Bibles that we read today. So therefore, it became a patriarchal document rather than the unity document of the teachings of what he was teaching. So as we go through the zodiac signs here, we have a really, really cool experience that we can actually unlock. And for me, the zodiac was very, very overwhelming for a long time and trying to figure out all the little pieces and how does this work and what about this sign rising and all of this. And you can go down the rabbit hole and you can discover so much about yourself. But on the surface, I relabeled all of the zodiac signs with their base archetype if you were in a game. And I want to share those this morning real quick before we run through the tarot deck as well. Aries being the warrior, someone that is ready to be courageous and be a leader and even take on some of the hardest challenges and battles that life has to offer. Taurus is the builder, looking for stability and persistence, building something solid and lasting, even for future generations, from relationships, career, and personal mastery. Gemini, the messenger, the communicator, bringing knowledge and connection. Your soul chose versatility and curiosity as your guides on this journey. Cancer is the nurturer. You came to experience deep emotional growth. Your role revolves around empathy, caregiving, and finding strength and vulnerability. Leo is the leader. You're here to shine. Your soul picked the archetype of the ruler, seeking recognition and learning the true essence of self-worth through leadership. Virgo being the healer, your journey centers around service and improvement. You're here to heal others, refine your skills, and seek perfection in the earthly realm. Libra, the harmonizer, you choose balance, peace, and beauty in your story. Harmony between opposites and bringing fairness into the world are key themes. Scorpio is the alchemist. You pick the path of transformation, deep emotional exploration, and resurrection from the ashes define your heroic narrative. Sagittarius is the explorer. Adventure and wisdom are calling you. Your story focuses on discovery, higher learning, and seeking spiritual truths behind earthly experience. Capricorn is an architect. You chose responsibility and achievement. Your character seeks to build something meaningful with discipline and determination as your tools. Aquarius, the visionary. You're here to innovate and shake up the status quo. Your journey calls for unconventional thinking and a focus on the greater good. Pisces, the mystic. Your soul chose a path of transcendence and compassion. You are the dreamer, the artist, and the spiritual seeker of the ultimate reality. And I resonate deeply with that one, identifying as a alternative Christian mystic. And this Pisces thing for me has been quite the journey, quite the choice I made this time around. And again, I believe in the transmigration of the soul, that these are not set signs that we only experience once. We are essentially playing a game over and over. And what if you could incarnate on other planets and play these same different characters? Or what if there's an entirely different set of archetypes for those planets based on those planetary alignments, based on a different zodiac for a different corner of our universe? And again, what if it's all an illusion? What if there's nothing beyond us happening? And the reason I put all of these here isn't to be an expert on the zodiac or challenge anyone who is, but rather give you a different view and a condensed, clean view of what these archetypes are, rather than identifying as a Pisces, a mystic, rather than an Aquarius, a visionary, a Capricorn, an architect, Sagittarius, an explorer, and so on. By replacing these words with the zodiac and putting an archetype that we can actually understand day to day and operate out of that place gives us the beginning of our power, I believe. And then I want to talk about the hero's journey. This is something that has always fascinated me as a storyteller, as someone who loves movies, TV, books, music. I love a good story. And I actually have this theory that truth has to be told at all points in time, regardless. Every movie, every book, every television show, every piece of music you will ever hear is a message on the state of your being. We hear of the State of the Union, when we have big political things going on. But what if everything you experience is a state of the soul for you? You decide to go with your significant other to a movie on a Friday night. You watch a movie and you're entertained. Or are you enlightened? Because you should be enlightened at every experience. The true seekers see truth in everything. I recently saw a movie where it was laden with deep symbolism. Every chapter and every turn of the movie was full of data for my soul, even to the point of having dreams and visions about this movie and understanding things in my life because of it. And you can do the same thing. Your journey isn't just when we meditate in our rooms. Our journey is everything that we do in this world, every person we meet, every encounter we have, every word we hear, every number we see. We often in the spiritual community talk about serendipities and synchronicities, and I'm in alignment now because no, you're always in alignment. And if you're not seeing the numbers, if you're not seeing those things, it's not because you're not in alignment, it's that you're in alignment with something different. It's that you're in alignment with the matrix system. It's that you're in alignment with the job. It's that you're in alignment with, I've got stuff to do today. Don't you understand? Well, I'll be spiritual on my time to be spiritual. Now is the time to be spiritual all the time. Now is the time to challenge the status quo. Now is the time to break the mold on what the matrix looks like. Now is the time to have the conversations with our coworkers, our family, and ourselves to be honest and authentic about who we are, what we want, and how we believe this reality is set up. No longer do we have to hide in our rooms and do the meditations. We can lead them with people we know and love. Each week I play frisbee with a really good friend of mine, and our conversations immediately in the beginning a few years ago were things like work, family, TikTok videos, and they've evolved because I've evolved. They've evolved because he's evolved. And they are now conversations about the simulation. They're conversations about being awake. They're conversations about non-player characters and player ones. They're conversations about the nature of God and the nature of self, about expanding our game and our character. And if you've ever heard the phrase growing up, to work on your character, develop character, that was literally an esoteric symbol from the simulation that you planted within it to tell you to level up your character. If you're like me, you heard that from your grandparents. And I thought to develop character, they would make me sweep the garage and say it develops character. But I didn't realize that it was literally leveling up my character in the game. Not character as the idea of making me a better person, but actually developing the character arc as I live in the simulation. And real quick, I'm going to burn through the tarot deck. If you're not into tarot, no worries. Just know that tarot is a beautiful system. And I'm going to just really hit the major arcana and talk about the journey, the fool's journey, the hero's journey, however you want to look at it, that you are literally going through. You are at some point on this journey. In fact, this journey can unfold from point A to point Z in the time that it takes the sun to cross the sky in a day. You start as the fool. You get out of bed in the morning, or you exit the womb. You're the fool. It's the start of your journey. Your soul takes its first steps into the unknown, guided by faith and wonder. Then the magician shows up. This is your empowerment. You realize your potential. and begin using the tools at your disposal, creativity, intellect, and willpower to shape your destiny. If you like Lord of the Rings like I do, this is where Frodo meets Gandalf. The magician shows up, the call to this unknown. Don't you know you have powers? The high priestess, your inner knowing shows up, a time when you tap into your intuition, beginning to understand the deeper mysteries of life and your role in it. For many of us, this happens when we're very, very young. We start as the fool, then we begin to be empowered. Oh, we can take our first steps. We're empowered. Now we have inner knowing. You start to become slightly self-aware. You're exiting the spiritual matrix and fully grafting into the physical matrix as a character, as a soul character archetype here. Then the Empress is your growth. Here, your soul experiences the richest of life, love, creation, abundance, learning to nurture and be nurtured. You develop relationships with your family, your friends. You go to your first preschool and you meet other people, other kids, other souls. What a beautiful, beautiful experience we have here. And yet, we still wonder what life's all about, and it's right under our nose. It's about us. It's about us experiencing experience. Why do you play a video game? Why do you play a board game? Why do you watch a movie? To be entertained. We are cosmic, eternal beings of light that are looking for form and shadow and experience. And therefore, here we are. Start acting like it. I have told myself many, many times. Then the emperor, the structure. You can't fly. Get down from there. You can't do that. Don't touch that. Get up. Go to school. Go do this. Go do that. This is the structure of the matrix. This is when you build order and structure in your life, either through family, career, personal discipline, or just the agreements of the matrix through your culture, your time, your place, and your chosen incarnation. Then the Hierophant, tradition. You come into contact with traditional wisdom, spiritual teachings, and seek to find meaning within structured belief systems. This can be a very liberating point for a lot of us when we realize there's more than us. Wait, there's a God. Wait, there's a Savior. Wait, there's a universal mother. Wait, there's a cosmic plan. Wait, there's more than me. This is a beautiful moment as well. But a lot of us will just stay here for life. And if you're like me, I stayed there for like 30 years, even asking questions, and I would push myself outside of those boundaries only to pull myself back to safety. So mine was a constant dance back and forth over the line. Then you have the lovers, the choice, a pivotal moment when you make significant decisions about relationships, values, or your path forward. The chariot, victory. You face your challenges head on. Determination and confidence to overcome obstacles and forge ahead. This could be you pass your first test, you learn to ride a bike. You see where I'm going with this. This moment happens over and over and over, these victories. Strength and resilience, all of your failures, your fears, your victories, everything add to your resilience. Develop your inner strength, your character, patience and courage, learning to control the primal instincts within. The hermit is reflection. And a lot of times when we get into spirituality, we are in like constant hermit mode. And I know I am. It is my, you know, pleasure to just stay in my office and do the inner work, meditate, yoga. Even when I go to the gym, and most people do, you put your headphones on and you tune everyone out. And we become perpetual hermits, and we forget that we've created all these other characters to interact with. And this right here is one of the reasons I made the podcast that I do every day interactive. I have the comments coming up on the screen. I do the Zoom calls with my community, and I take all of the feedback and questions and comments and just the energy and just alchemize everything. And it's such a beautiful reminder that, hey, I'm not alone in this. And at the very least, I've created all of these beautiful avatars to have this experience with myself, right? The Wheel of Fortune, not the TV show, but the sign of change, the moment when destiny intervenes, bringing change, opportunities, and challenges that alter your path. And again, I believe we choose these Wheel of Fortune moments early on in our soul journey. The moment you would meet your soulmate, the moment you would get that job that changed everything for you, the moment that phone call came that gave your character arc meaning and direction and changed everything for you. And sometimes just the moment when you realize something deeper, when you got it, when you thought a little bit more about the movie, the TV show, or your own inner thoughts. Then justice and accountability show up. Your actions come full circle and you face the consequences or rewards of your past choices, gaining clarity and balance. And the justice card is a beautiful card too when it comes to this because it's not always about some major judgment. Sometimes we just judge ourselves. Sometimes we just have to deal with the guilt and forgive ourselves. Sometimes we have to forgive others. Sometimes it's just the karma that we need to burn and do better. The Hanged Man, we surrender to the void, to the universe. A lesson in letting go and seeing the world from a new perspective, often through sacrifice or profound change. And now, if you haven't caught along with how this story is going here, if you follow the story of Jesus himself, he becomes the hanged man, and the justice card for him is completely out of balance. He's accused of doing something he didn't do, and he's taken to a cross, and he becomes the hanged man. And he surrenders. And in that moment, he says, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they're doing. And one of the deep things that I study is paranormal, and I love paranormal. I just did my first mini, ghost hunt a few weeks ago up in New Mexico. And one of the things we study around that, and me being in the supernatural realm with everything I do, is that actions and emotions leave a discharge of energy and they mark a time and place in this simulated reality. And when you're unalived and you harbor hatred, you open a portal to what we may consider the lower realms, to daemonic or demonic energies. This is where all number of horrors come from: family trauma, abuse, addictions, suicides, lots of things that are not fun to talk about on a Sunday morning. But these leave traces, and these also mark family lines. And so when Jesus said, Forgive them, they know not what they're doing, I don't think he just offered an oral blessing. I think he really felt love and compassion, even as he was being tortured and unalived. And that's where this hanged man, this moment of surrender, it's a lesson in letting go and seeing the world from a completely different perspective, often through our sacrifice or profound change. And if you're like me, you've had moments in your life when other people made decisions for you that changed your entire paradigm. And while you have alchemized them and turned them into gold, they hurt. And the times that they gave you with the anxiety and the fear did leave a mark on you and others. And then death comes for us all, the transformation, the thing that is not the end, that is actually the beginning, and then back to this reality again. This is a chapter of deep transformation where something must end for something new to begin. And the same story of Jesus through the Bible, following the tarot deck perfectly from his birth, his studies, most likely his time in Egypt and India through the mystery schools and the ashrams, learning how to connect with God and self, and come back to challenge the set of religious laws given by man. He gave everything so that we could have knowledge of God, not as a blood sacrifice because you have original sin, but so that you could realize the inner magician. You could realize your own journey. You could understand that this story is your story, that you are Jesus, you are Christ, He didn't come to make followers, but Christ's. Jesus, he is us. Temperance is healing. After he left, many people had to find temperance and the healing and the balance and the moderation and the grief and everything after the master had left. And then the devil creeps in. Immediately, people are like, oh, he's not who he said he was. He's not who we thought. The egos come in. They wanted to be right. Then the tower, the breakthrough. A sudden upheaval or revelation shakes your foundations. This literally happens after the crucifixion. There's actually recorded an earthquake in the Bible. The sun went dark, the earth shook, the veil was torn. The tower moment that came down. Then the star of hope. After the storm, you experience renewed sense of hope, faith, or spiritual clarity. And this star happens when the tomb is opened and the angel stands there. Then the moon is the illumination. This is that inner knowing, the glow, the afterglow, as Carla and I talked about the other day. This beautiful moment where the moon is illuminating. It's not the direct heat of the sun, but it's the glow and the ability to alchemize it and see all the nuance without being blinded by it. This is the unknown or unconscious aspects of life that surface, challenging us to navigate through intuition, through our own knowing that it wasn't about him. It's not about her. It's about us, not about the ego, but about the higher self, about the truth that we learn through all things and how we're able to alchemize and purify and love deeper and open up more and experience more in this reality. And then the sun of joy, as he begins to ascend upon the mountain, he's illuminated fully. There's clarity, success, fulfillment. The light of understanding illuminates our path. This is the moment after we've reflected on things when we begin to rise again. We've realized that we are the God that we seek. We are magic. We have joy and truth within us. And this is what illuminates our path. And then judgment is that full awakening where we judge the ego and we say, no more. I am your master. You are not mine. This is clarity, success, and even more alignment with our soul's mission. And finally, the world completion. It is finished. The final chapter. We achieve the wholeness, the integration, completing the journey, and the wisdom and enlightenment. And then we continue on back into the fool's journey. And so for me, I think this is just an absolutely beautiful way to look at things. And I think that we incarnated here for a reason, and that reason wasn't so we can find the right belief system and hope that we can avoid hell. It's so that we can create heaven on earth. This isn't about some perfect society that we're going to go create and sell memberships to. This is about, are we becoming that which we seek? Because ultimately, we will never find anything that we aren't willing to become. And I could go on and on and on here to kind of end this. We have superpowers, I believe, everything from clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience, claircognizance, healing arts, empathy, teaching and guiding, and intuition and indigo, light workers, Reiki masters, card readers, and genuinely just people who are willing to befriend others who need friends. I believe we have soul ties across realms, and we have an actual spirit family that will connect with us during this lifetime. It may not be the one we're born into, but it will be the characters that we interact with on a regular basis that help spur, spark, and perpetuate timelines of our life. And I see all of this connect from the book of Enoch to the gospel. I love the gospels. I love the Gnostic gospels. If you haven't read the Gospel of Thomas, it's one of the most beautiful, transcendent documents, non-dogmatic, beautiful teachings of Jesus that no matter who you are or what you identify with, you can absolutely improve your life through. And so I just want to offer a blessing today as you're on your journey. Keep going. Don't give up. This is your story. And ask yourself, what do I want to experience next? And the universe will always show up for you with everything you need for what you are becoming. If you don't have something you think you need, it's because you are not the thing that needs it. You are not the consciousness that needs it. So embody fully what it is you want to experience. Be loved, be blessed. And thank you so much for having me here today. I hope that that maybe tripped somebody out a little bit and maybe touched some hearts and maybe at least just gives a thought experiment for the week.
Oh man, that was lovely. Every part of that, it was like deep, and there was so much I want to talk about, but we don't have time. Um, I'm gonna have to watch that again. But what I got mainly, like, first of all, I loved how you put the tarot and then correlated it back to Christianity. I'm like, whoa, so this is how a real Christian mystic thinks. Like he uses the actual other things too, but he just correlates it all back around. I love that. So I learned a
Absolutely.
lot. Thank you.
Thank
Um,
you.
and yeah, just thank you for coming on. Um, Thank you for being here. Whoever watches this from now or later, uh, we honor you and sending love and blessings. And thank you so much, Jacob. Let's keep in touch because you are
Yes.
absolutely a treat. I'm so glad somehow I found you. So thank you.
I'm happy to speak anytime you guys need somebody.
Oh,
I love sharing. I love meeting people. Anybody that wants to reach out to me, you can come check out my channels and keep the line open here. Anytime you want to do collaborations, I love doing stuff like that. So thank you.
but that's the other thing is okay. So the website is. Do,
My website is you can do supernaturalcircle.com and it'll forward you, or it's cubkuker.com. Nobody can remember how to spell Kuker, so I did supernaturalcircle.com to forward to it. So
okay. All right, cool. He's got some really cool stuff on TikTok. The videos are really very interesting. So it's a deep dive into like a rabbit hole when you start binging his stuff. So okay.
and
Uh,
that newsletter is supernaturalnewsletter.com. That's completely free and you can sign up for that and you'll get the issue that I'm reading from. It goes out this next week. So I send out a couple of newsletters each week with all of my studies and frameworks in them. So
Sweet. All
yeah.
right. Well, so blessed to have you. Y'all have a wonderful month and week, 2 weeks. We'll be back in a couple of weeks. Um, thank you.
Thank you.